You are welcome back to my channel. In a bid to stem the tide of insecurity and clashes between host communities and Fulani herders in Kogi State, the authorities have decided to bring the Fulani and Hausa community closer by giving them leadership roles to play in their traditional council. And as you have it, these have led to the turbaning of about 9 Fulani persons in Kogi Central Senatorial District. And their names are Mohammed Isiako Tahisu, Saleh Danladi, Ibrahim Haruna Karijo, Abdulkarim Mohammed, Haruna Umar Bahago, and 4 others. Before I go further, take a look at the event where they were turbined and how it happened. Let us get your thoughts. We shall come back to further this conversation.
The current move to give Fulani and Hausa communities in Kogi Central leadership roles in the traditional council is part of deliberate efforts of Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo's commitment towards bringing the people closer in their host communities and to further enhance peaceful coexistence among the people in the area. This is targeted at stemming the challenges of herders-farmers conflicts and other forms of insecurity in the Central District of Kogi State. At the event, Mohammed Isiako Tarshi was turbaned as Obaro of Kogi Central, Saleh Danladi as the Serikin Hausawa of Ibiraland, while Ibrahim Haruna Karijo is the Serikin Fulani of Ibiraland. Abdul Kadri Mohammed was turbaned as the Serikin Fulani of Kogi Central, and Haruna Umar Bahago as the Ardo Fulani of Okehi local government area. 4 others were turbaned as Serikin Fulani of Okehi, Adavi, Okene, and Ajaukuta local government areas.
After this coronation today, within shortest time, we are going to invite them. We will give them the mandate. We will sit down and have a meeting with them. They should know what the community needed from them, what the norms of the society, and what the society doesn't like. They will be in better picture. From there, they will act as mouthpiece of the community.
The occasion, which brought together stakeholders from across Kogi Central, including the Accountant General of Kogi State, Abibat Oiza Tijani Onumoko, was marked with fanfare. While appreciating the governor and the Ohinoye of Ibiraland for the opportunity to serve, the title holders pledged their loyalty and support to the authority for a lasting peace in Ibiraland.
We are not going to sit down in the house. What we are supposed to do, we'll do it. And the peace we are looking for, inshallah, will bring 100% support. In any angle we see anything that is not good in the communities, inshallah, we will try to bring it down to the Ohinoye of Ibiraland.
The ceremony marked a turning point towards stamping out herders-farmers conflicts in Kogi Central Senatorial District in Okene.
You are welcome back. Though the intention of the authorities in Kogi State is well thought out, because according to information, is to stem the tide of insecurity that is occasioned by activities of Fulani herders and other area of disturbance that has to do with the security of lives and properties of the citizens of the state. But I hope that this is not going to turn out to be the same issue that happened in Kwara State in the past. A learning to be precise. Going back memory lane, talking about the issue that has to do with the Afonja and Janta Alimi. Because we understand that in the time past, the Alaafin of Oyo is one that appoints the traditional ruler in Ilorin, talking about Afonja, who oversees the affairs of that community on behalf of the Alaafin. Of course, we know that the Ilorin before now was a purely Yoruba community. But over the time, in sometime 18th century, we understand that the man Janta Alimi have or rather had an encounter with Afonja, and as we have it, the man Afonja was disallowed at some point, and Janta Alimi descendants took over that place and in that term as Fulani Emirates. And as we speak, Ilorin is an emirate under the Sultan of Sokoto. So I want to believe that this move by the authorities in Kogi will not go to hurt anyone, because for what we are seeing from different parts of the country, it is becoming very difficult to have that confidence to bring the Fulanis closer to the point of giving them leadership role to play in traditional council, as we have just seen. And apart from that, we have even seen in recent time how someone, Buba Galadima, will come out clearly to say that even in the time of Obasanjo as the president, even when the current president, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, was the governor of Lagos State, that the Yorubas were making moves to dismantle what he called the Fulani structure in Kogi State, or Ilorin to be precise. And according to him, that is part of the reason they drafted even the Buhari into politics, to protect or to stop the then government from dismantling what he called the Fulani structure in Kwara State. And more so, as we have seen in recent time, the information that came from Kao Baraji, of course, he equally made that statement in Ilorin in the celebration of his 70th birthday, where he said that the reason they brought Fulani militias into the country was to oust a Jonathan out of office. So in the light of all this, it becomes increasingly difficult for people to have confidence in the Fulanis, bringing them closer. So that's why I say, I hope and believe that this well thought out intention is not going to hurt the people in that environment. Because we are seeing renewed attack in Kogi State. We are seeing renewed attack in Kwara State recently. Talking about sacking the whole communities, people being driven from their ancestral homes. And the worst part of it is the one we saw that happen recently, where bandits invaded a church, started shooting sporadically. So the question is, do people have confidence to even bring the Fulanis closer to the point of giving them major role or roles to play in a traditional council in a senatorial district in a state? Because even the idea of saying, go and ranch your cow, which is the world best practice, the argument has always been, the people, those communities are wary of even bringing that land to give the Fulanis for ranching. Because there is that fear that any land you give to them, of course, becomes their ancestral home. And from there, they will likely fight to amass or nest more land. So that is why I fear that bringing them close to the point of giving them traditional roles to play in the traditional council, that it is something that the government of any state have to think twice before doing. Because the level of insecurity we are witnessing in the country is worrisome. And if you look at it, the Fulanis are the center of it. If you take attention to what is happening in Kwara State, the Fulanis are the center of it. If you look at what is happening in, of course, Kogi State, the Fulani is at the center of it. If you take attention to Plateau State, the same thing is applicable. If you take attention to, of course, Benue State, the Fulani is at the center of it. If you even decide to take attention to perhaps Zamfara State, the Fulani is at the center of it. You take attention to, of course, Katsina State, they are at the center of it. If you decide to come back to the southern part of the country, in Delta State, in Edo State, even in the eastern part of the country, they are at the center of it. To the point that, at some point, we read, of course, it was widely publicized when the Mietiala approached the southeastern governors, demanding that they wanted to float security outfits or call it vigilante group in the southeastern part of the country. Though the governors of the region rejected it, we are beginning to wonder what should have given them that boldness, that effrontery, to approach a region that is alien to you and requesting that you want to bring about security outfit or call it vigilante. So it calls for question. And even at some point, we only read how there are about more than 20 or even 30 camps of militias in the forest, in the bushes, in the southeastern part of the country. A situation that made traditional rulers to be worried. So the question is, it is going to be extremely very difficult to trust the Fulani. And I think what the Fulanis need to do going forward is to start redeeming their own image. Because trust is earned, you don't enforce it. Your activities over the years will determine whether people will trust you or not. That is why the Fulanis need to go back to the drawing board to address issues and borders on people not trusting them. Because as far as I'm concerned, they are at the center of almost all the crises in terms of insecurity in the country. Even though some people will come out and say you have foreign Fulanis, but the question is, who does it behove on to identify who is a Nigerian Fulani and a foreign Fulani? Because if they don't have indigenous Fulani, the foreign ones will not have access into the country. So they come because they have indigenous Fulani who, of course, perhaps invite them. And even after they are not inviting them, when they come in, they mix up with their people. So even if you want to identify and isolate the foreign Fulanis, it is even the Fulani themselves that have the mandate to do so, because they are the one that is carrying the toga of insecurity. So they are the one that needs to address all of this.